All right, welcome to the Sports Guys. Another NFL recap and an amazing weekend we're coming off of. Last night, the Monday night game finished, and we had some incredible games we're going to go through tonight. And unfortunately, a lot of big injuries we need to talk about as well. Some of the movers and shakers in the NFL are going up, and we have some other teams that are fading, so we'll get into that. We're going to also do a quick dip into the World Series, talk a little bit about what's happening there in those three games. We got another game tonight with Ohtani pitching tonight, which is pretty cool.
Unbelievable.
I know. And then we're going to also take a look at the NBA standings as the games have just gotten started in that league. How you doing, Robbie?
Doing really well, thanks. Just got the boys heard about their basketball team for the season. Just got the info there, and just been cranking through so much sports. I can't even process all of it, but it's been really cool. What a week
Yeah.
in sports this was.
And NFL is really interesting because it's so up and down. It is so hard to make a trend on anybody. You had the
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs had the 1-3 start. Now they're sitting at 5-3 and look like the best team in football. You've got the Baltimore Ravens that just imploded from an injury standpoint. A lot of
hmm
people had picked them for the Super Bowl, and now they're sitting essentially out of playoff contention.
The
You got
Commanders are, we don't know
Commanders
what they are.
decimated, completely
Yeah.
decimated. You
Yeah.
got Eagles that started great, then lost two in a row, and then have kind of pulled it back together. You had the Giants
Out,
who had some
out of out
promise,
of
and
nowhere, you have the Chiefs. They look like world beaters again.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
So,
it's
what do you
wild.
make of the NFL right now and the up and down nature of it? That you
Super
really
parody,
can't.
super parody.
Is that what
It's
it is?
so easy to overreact Monday to this stuff. Um, I'm hearing that Drake May is the best quarterback in the NFL, and like, oh my God, that's just a step too far. Like there, you can say someone's doing really, really well, surprisingly well, but people are overboard at reacting to some of these results, either too much to the good or too much to the bad. I'm not one who's going to sign off on Kansas City being unbeatable because they've looked good recently against kind of bad teams. Um, do I think the Chiefs have as much shot as anyone else? Yeah, because I think the AFC is a little weaker. Um, but at the same time, a couple of weeks ago, they looked real beatable. So
Yeah.
when they're hot, they're one of the best teams in the league. Really comes down to are they going to be able to go on a run like that or not? And we'll see. But overreaction Monday is in full effect. People calling the Vikings terrible. The Chiefs are going to go to the Super Bowl. Um, you know, the Jets get one win. I think if they get another one, people are going to start trying to talk playoffs. Like it's just so much overreaction. It's insane.
I will say,
But that's the fun of it, really.
you can get a general sense now that you're 8 games into the season. You can get a general
Yeah.
sense for the teams that are good, the teams that are really bad, and there's
Yeah.
quite a few teams that are really bad, and
Well,
then
let me ask you this.
the teams that
What
are
are
kind
the
of in the middle.
Tom, what are the Chargers? I don't know. I mean, they're
They're
really
good.
good.
They're good.
They're really good, but they're not great. They're just
Are,
good.
are you saying Chargers full roster, or are you saying Chargers all banged up? It really makes a
I'm
difference.
saying Chargers full roster can beat the pants off somebody, but then, they can look mediocre against the Browns the next
Last
week.
week, with no offensive line, they lost to the Colts and got blown out. This week, Joe Alt comes back, and they look like one of the best teams in the NFL. So
I
just
know.
one
I know.
player. So it makes a huge difference. The teams that
There's
are
a
really banged up are really struggling right now. Even if they're good
Yeah.
teams, they're still struggling. Um,
Except for the Lions. They win no matter what the injury situation.
True. I thought the Packers looked incredibly good this weekend.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing a couple quarterbacks step up this year that are unexpected. The Drake May situation, I agree, not the best quarterback in the league. I think that's absurd, but he
Yeah.
has surprised me. He's surprisingly good this year. He's very solid. Doesn't make many
The
mistakes.
the argument you could make for Drake May is that he's the best quarterback in his draft class. I'd say that that's a maybe.
That I
That's a
agree.
Would you rather him over Jaden Daniels? I'm not sure
No,
about that.
no.
They're both solid franchise quarterbacks, and I would take either one,
I
but
would
I'm not
take
gonna
him
say
over
he's better.
Caleb.
Me too. Always have, but Anyway, I guess the theme I would say is coming out of this week is the teams that are getting healthy, like the Chiefs, are starting to look like it. The teams that are getting healthy, like the Chargers, are starting to look better. And the teams that are getting banged up and beat up and hurt and injured, like the Commanders and the Giants, um, they're gonna struggle now. It's gonna get uglier for them.
The teams that have returned to the model that works, which is run the ball, play defense, don't make mistakes, don't turn it over,
And
be
play
efficient,
action.
be
Yeah.
efficient on offense, play action, keep moving the chains. Those teams win. And you look at like why the Colts are so good this year. I think they have the most surprising player on their team. If I were to say the most surprising player in the NFL this year, it's Daniel Jones, because everyone had written him
I
off.
think so too.
He's
Comeback
number
player of
one
the
most
year.
surprising. And then I'd say probably the best player in the league this year is Jonathan Taylor. So,
Absolutely.
so I
Yes.
mean, he's already at the touchdown total that Saquon Barkley had last year, and Saquon was number 2 in the MVP voting. So
Yeah.
he's already at that touchdown level after 8 games. So, it's incredible to see the teams that take the model you and I've always talked about and run it, they win. It's as simple as that.
Yep. And play defense.
And play defense. Yep.
Yeah. If
And
you if you get like in the top 5 or 6 in both offensive and defensive categories, then you're gonna win a lot. And that's where the Lions are, you know.
you know who the 32nd defense in the league is right now after 8 weeks?
Is it Dallas?
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Number 31 is the Baltimore Ravens. So,
Yeah.
you're looking at two teams that everyone thought was playoffs, but they just are too bad on defense to make up for, the deficits they end up in every week. And
Yeah.
Dak's playing the best football of his career by far, but you can't score 38 points every week. It's just not possible.
I know.
Let's go take a look at the scoreboard. Here we go.
Do it.
All right, let's do a shout out to our sponsor for this evening, and that is DraftKings. DraftKings has been a longtime sponsor of ours. We've really enjoyed using the app, placing small bets. It's a lot of fun. It adds a lot of juice to each game that you bet on. Right now, they've got a 100% match up to $100 if you do a new deposit. And they also give you 50 bonus bet dollars if you win your first bet, which is really a pretty good deal. So, Robbie, what do you think of DraftKings? How much have you enjoyed using it?
Oh, it's the best. I've been having so much fun with it. The other day I was thinking about it. I was thinking there is no better time than this right now to
Mhm.
be enjoying all the different games and looking at the spreads and checking out, who's hurt and who's questionable. And then I thought about it. There are so many times of the year when that's true. March Madness is
Mhm.
like that. And so
It's true.
DraftKings is fun all year round. It's incredible. You can do parlays. You can just put some money down on a certain game, overs, um, scores. If just it kind of just you cater it to what you like. And I think they always have really good deals. I was attracted to that in the beginning, and then it's a really cool app. So DraftKings is awesome.
One feature I really like that they have that a lot of the other sites don't have, and that is the cash out option. So, like
Yeah,
this weekend, I did a bunch of parlays. I had a couple hit, I had a couple not hit, and then I had one that was a four team parlay, and I hit the first three. The other one was tonight, and it was an over that I don't think is going to hit. And so this morning, I actually cashed out for triple my investment, which is a really cool function. I won't have to let that game run tonight and see if I hit it. If I didn't hit it, I'd lose the whole thing. So really cool feature there. I like the cash out option.
it is. I'm really glad they're a sponsor. It's a cool app.
Yep. So guys, check it out tonight. Like I said, they have the bonuses that you're available for if you want to go ahead and make your first deposit. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right, see you soon.
All right. So taking a look at week 8, the first game out of the gate Thursday night was the Chargers and the Vikings. You just mentioned how Chargers have been really kind of up and down. A lot of it has to do with if they have an offensive line or not. This week they had Joe Alt back. Herbert played particularly well in this game. He looked really
Yeah,
sharp.
he looked like he did in week 1.
And they have this kid come in who's their third string running back, Vidal, that nobody had ever heard of because their first 2 running backs are hurt right now. And he had like the career
Well,
game of his life.
no, but he's had several good weeks in a row.
I know he has,
Like
but I'm saying
he's legitimately getting his opportunity and he's making the most of it.
what's surprising is that wasn't even on the radar. He started the season in the practice squad, so
Yeah,
he's really making the
I
opportunity.
agree.
McConkey,
But he's consistently good now. Like it wasn't just some 1 week.
McConkey continues to round into one of the better receivers in the AFC. He's really dominant right now. What are your thoughts on 37-10 and what's happened to the Vikings? I mean, they've just completely collapsed.
Well, Wentz had a rough time. He got hurt and he's playing hurt, his labrum, and uh, he didn't want to come out. But I mean, he has a 27.3 QBR. He got absolutely hammered on
And
every play.
now they've decided to rule him out for the rest of the season. He's going to have
Yeah,
surgery.
he's
Yeah.
gonna have surgery. So
Yeah.
I guess they're stuck with Max Brosman.
Right.
You know, Max who? Like,
Right.
you know, no offense to Max Brosmer. We haven't heard of him yet, but the point is not you're not in great hands if you have Justin Jefferson relying on Max Brosmer to get you the ball.
Apparently, they placed a phone call after the game to the Atlanta Falcons to see if Kirk Cousins would be available
Yeah, I think that'd be
for
a
the
good
draft.
move.
Yeah.
That'd be a good move.
He knows that offense and might make
Yeah.
some sense.
Hmm.
He'd be better than Kurt Brosmer, I think.
I would think.
Anything else come out of this game that surprised you? I mean, I thought the
Not
Vikings
really.
defense was going to be good this year, but it's just not. It just got
No.
abused in this game.
LA's D is awesome.
Yeah.
They had 5 sacks, created all kinds of problems.
Hmm.
They look good. They got 2 picks, put a lot of pressure. They were absolutely destroying Wentz physically, and that was hard to watch. But no, I think that the stats match very much and track very well with what happened in this game. I think Lad McConkey and Herbert have a really special connection.
I do.
Um, and I mean, look at it this way: first downs, Tom, 29-12. They almost tripled the number of first downs.
Right. And
29 to
you
12.
notice that your quarterback model to throw under 40 throws. Well, he threw 25 times. He's very efficient. Three
Yeah,
touchdowns.
yeah,
Had a great game. They can run the ball. They can throw it to the tight
yeah.
end. They play good
Vidal's
defense.
doing well.
They're well coached.
McConkey, they got their lineman back. Uh, and their defense is awesome. So it was a sound beating. They had almost twice as much uh, time of possession, and it was just no, nothing good for Minnesota. Nothing.
I was just watching ESPN and they were talking about it looks like the Vikings are going to be called on their bluff, which is that everyone thinks that the J.J. McCarthy injury was a bluff. And really what it was is he wasn't ready. And
I'm not sure.
now they're saying that, he's going to probably get forced into some action the rest of the year. And is he going to be ready? I don't know. It's just what they were saying on TV.
I'm not buying
I've
that.
always felt that
I
way.
think he was hurt. He was hurt, and they felt like they had a good insurance policy and allowed the him to heal back up. And now they're in trouble, so they're going to move him back in there. It has nothing to do with them not wanting to play him. I think that's a conspiracy theory I cannot get behind
But
because
they're
I just
playing
don't
a guy
believe it.
who had a torn labrum for the last 3 weeks over JJ McCarthy, who should be healthy by now. So I don't know.
No, no, but they're
It's a
trying to
curious.
get JJ McCarthy all the way back to 100%. So the argument isn't whether he was hurt or not. I think those people are a little out to lunch. I think the question is, are they bringing him back 100%, or are they going to throw him in there at 85% and hope
Mhm.
that he hangs in there? I think they've been resisting trying to throw him in before he hits the 100% mark.
Or are they going to
Um,
trade for Kirk Cousins and just not play McCarthy the rest of the year, and he'll go into his year 3 having played 2 games in his career? That's
well,
the.
is it worth it? I mean, I don't think they can salvage their season at this point.
I agree.
3-4, maybe. I don't know. They could
You're,
possibly fight their way up to get
you're in a
a
division
wild
with the
card.
Packers. You're in the division
I
with
know.
the
Lions.
Lions. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
so yeah,
savage.
it's not going to happen. They're not going to make
No,
the
I
playoffs.
know, but I'm saying, if the Packers get banged up and the Lions get banged up, all of a sudden, you could have a pathway that opens up. So
maybe.
But no, I don't believe this whole they're keeping him out because they don't want to play him because they're embarrassed, but they don't want to have egg on their face. No, no, no.
Hmm.
That stuff's crazy. They
Yeah.
made very important decisions that he was their guy, and that hasn't changed because I mean he played what, 2 games this year?
Hmm.
He's still their guy. Like he got
Right.
hurt.
We'll see. I'm very interested to see the rest of the way what the Vikings do at quarterback this year. It's going to be
For
really
me,
interesting.
there's not 1% of me that believes that he won't play as soon as he can in terms of for them, they're trying to define when he can. Everyone out there is like, just put him in there. And they're
Well, and they're
thinking
trying to see what they.
we only want him to go in when he's healthy because he can run the ball when he's healthy. He can throw decently when he's healthy. He's a leader. We want him to come back strong and not limping and gimping and get himself. A lot of times players come back too early, and in doing so, they'll go through much more serious injuries. They'll have like career-ending injuries or year-ending injuries on top of, remember in basketball, KD uh, came back too early from a high ankle sprain and he blew his Achilles out. And they said that that was related
Well, it's
to
interesting.
the
Our
injury.
fans will know this on the Sports Guys. Our fans will know that I'm the one who always leans more towards the conspiracy theory. You're the one who always discounts it. And what I will just say is, looking at the record of conspiracy theories, about 80 or 90% of them come true eventually. So we'll see. We'll see
Lately
what they
some, but
we'll see what they believe in, if they believe in McCarthy, because they need to figure out if they've got something in McCarthy. He's
there's
already
no question they believe
in
in
year two.
McCarthy because they got rid of Cousins.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the end of the sentence.
but
Like
was there? No, it's not, because was there buyer's
it
remorse?
is.
That's the question.
Nah,
So
no.
yeah,
No, they're sad that he's hurt and not available. The most
right.
important thing in football is availability,
Hmm.
and he's not available again, and that's sad. But they think he's their guy. They love him. The locker room loves him.
So we had a very pleasant surprise as we let off our Sunday NFL Sunday, and that
Beautiful.
was the Dolphins finally winning a game and going to two
That
and
was
six.
beautiful. Yeah.
And they absolutely destroyed a pretty good Falcons team, a team that we thought had an improved defense. And Tua and Shane and Waddle and everybody just had a feast on this particular Sunday.
They
Um,
ran the
and
ball really effectively.
Penix looked so bad that for the second game in a row, he was pulled out in the second half, um,
Yeah.
and actually ended up getting hurt as well. But thoughts about this game, 34-10? Did this
I,
surprise you?
I loved how they spread the ball around, running the ball. Shane had 18 carries for 67. Ollie Gordon had 10 carries for 46 and a really sweet catch and touchdown.
I always love to see
Jalen
that touchdown. That
Jalen
was awesome.
Wright got in there, 9 carries, 28 yards. So he's starting to get some action, which is nice. And Shane got a touchdown receiving. Ollie Gordon got a touchdown receiving. These guys, so they ran the ball and they used their running backs in these short passing game to create like nice big plays and scores. It was a good looking day for the Dolphins.
You know what was really cool about this? I didn't know this until after the game. Tua is now 5-0 in the Georgia Dome. And
Really?
one of his wins was with Alabama when they won the national championship
Yeah,
in that
I was
same
thinking
building.
that.
So how cool is that he goes back to the place where he won the Natty, and he puts on this kind of performance after this lackluster season they've had, and
Yeah.
blows out a really good Falcons team at home. It was pretty
And
impressive.
I'll tell you what, they went into this game and they said they made a big deal about how they're going to stop Bijan Robinson and
Yeah, and they did.
they're gonna make Cousins beat them another way. And they completely stopped Bijan Robinson. He was 9 for 25,
Right.
and
It was
that's
2.4
pitiful.
yards per carry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's pitiful. So, uh, and he's easily one of the top 2 backs in football. So even though his offensive line is so, he's still ripping it up and unstoppable normally. So they keyed on him. So they ran the ball well and used their running backs really effectively in multitude of ways. Not only did they have a 3-man punch, but they were using them out of the backfield on throwing plays and running the ball. But then they shut down Bijan and made it impossible for him to beat them. And so It was a perfect game plan, honestly.
Hmm.
One of Mike McDaniel's better ones.
It was. I agree. Very well
Mm,
called, very well played. And I thought the defense particularly played well for the Dolphins. I was really
yes.
surprised how well they played.
Yeah.
They really
Yeah, they
shut them
did.
down.
They did.
So you could tell Bijan Robinson at the end of the game was just very frustrated. He
Yeah.
really did not see that kind of game coming. So
No, he wasn't expecting that kind of defensive effort.
congrats to the Dolphins, man. They deserved it.
Ah, yeah.
This next game was absolutely the craziest game of the weekend. The Bengals go out to a 31-13 lead in the third quarter, and
Yeah.
we're just blowing them off the field. Joe Flacco, for the second week in a row, looked like he was going to be an all-pro quarterback. They were just doing whatever they wanted. You had Chase with 12 catches again. They were running the ball. Tiggins had some really nice
T.
catches.
Higgins had a beautiful touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they looked great. And then something
And you
that
know what
totally,
else? Before you move on from that, they had a beautiful running game.
yeah,
They
they
had
did.
Samaje Perine uh is running well now. And out of nowhere, he's had a couple good weeks in a row. And Chase Brown came back out of hiding. And so Perine had 94 yards and Brown had 73 yards. Both of them had a touchdown. So their running game got going. It was the weirdest thing. And then the Jets just went crazy in the fourth quarter.
And what was crazy about the comeback was, if you really watched it, they essentially, with that huge deficit, 31-13, they started running the ball, the Jets.
Yeah,
When they were down
yeah,
that much, no one does that. Everyone just passes and goes pass
I
happy.
know.
They started running the ball, and Brees Hall had his best game in 2 years.
He looked so good. He looked like he used to
And
look back in the day.
and then Justin Fields started connecting with some different receivers and started throwing touchdowns. And of course, Brees Hall then had the winning touchdown on a throw, on a rollout throw by the
Oh, that
running,
was so nice.
which
Yeah.
was incredible.
It
And
was a nice play, you
this
know?
was maybe the most improbable comeback I've seen in a couple of years at least.
I couldn't believe he threw that pass. Like
Looked
he was running on on a sweep.
like he was going to run out of bounds.
Clearly he was going to throw it, but
Yeah.
there was nobody open. And so it looked kind of like he was going to tuck it and try and slam forward for a couple of yards or a yard or whatever, because they were down deep, they were right on the goal line almost. And then he throws it kind of sidearmish, you know,
Hmm.
like
Right.
it looked like something Mahomes would do, and threw it into perfect coverage. And the guy Moss is his defender, and it was sweet. It was really
It
amazing
was.
way to win the game.
It was. And so to see
So
Justin Fields, who admitted that last week
he's upset.
he was really upset and he was crying at home over how
Hmm.
bad this season's going at 0-7,
Not only that,
and
but
that
being called out by his owner.
called out by his owner. And then he was thinking that maybe after this season his career was going to be over. He literally thought that. He said,
Yeah.
"I think my career's coming to an end." So for
I
him
mean,
to
when's
have
the
this
last
kind
time
of
an
game
owner criticized their quarterback? Like, it doesn't happen.
doesn't happen.
If you
For
think
him
about
to
it, it
have
doesn't happen.
for him to have this kind of game, and then he starts crying in the post game press conference because this meant that much to him to get one win with the worst franchise in football. And
Yeah.
what are your thoughts about this game? And can the Jets turn their season around potentially with this type of win?
No, but they can win just enough to not get the first pick.
Yeah.
No, I think they're terrible. They're a dumpster fire. Um, it's
Hmm.
they'll probably win one more game, maybe.
Yeah. And I told you earlier the two worst defenses in the NFL, 32 and 31. And guess who's 30? The Bengals. They're just absolute trash on defense. So that I was telling my Jets friends, just hold your horses a little bit. I'm really glad you got a win. Congratulations. You did that huge comeback in the second half against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Let's see
Actually,
you
I
do
was just
let's see
I
you do
was
it
just
against the
looking
Bills. You know what I mean?
I was just looking at defensive stats, and they're not too bad against the pass, the Bengals.
Right. That is true. That is
Yeah,
true.
they're
Which is
not too
why
bad.
the Jets started running the ball. Right. So um,
Yeah.
anyway,
They
this
actually,
was
I'll tell you, the Bengals were one of the worst defenses in the NFL last year, and they
mhm.
are not as bad this year. They're better. Same with Atlanta. They're better. I'm not saying they're great, They have work to do in the draft and get some players in, but there's some possibilities there. The problem with the Bengals is that they have offensive weapons and no ability to block. So
Mhm.
it's a free for all on their quarterbacks. And if you're a quarterback for the Bengals, it's just a matter of time before you get, looking through your ear hole.
It's true. Well, this win meant so much to the Jets, and congratulations to
Yeah.
them getting off the schneid. What do you think about Joe
Yeah.
Flacco and the way he's playing the last 2 weeks? I mean, it's pretty remarkable. 41 years
Uh,
old.
it's impressive to come in, not know your teammates' names for the most part. Um, really feel like you got thrown away on a bad team. Like if you're being thrown away from the Browns, that's very dispiriting.
Right,
You're not good enough to be on the Browns. That's like, ooh.
right.
So
It's impressive because the Jets have a very good defense. They really do, and the fact that they put
sort
up
of not
38.
as good as it has been though.
Yeah, true.
I agree. That's the strength of the
But
team overall.
yeah, they're stiff. I mean, they're hard to score against, and for them to put up a 38 spot and not win the game, that is really surprising.
Yeah.
So, so this next game, the Patriots just take care of business against a really bad Browns team. What was crazy is the Browns have this generational Hall of Fame talent, Myles Garrett, who ends up getting 5 sacks in the game
I know.
and
He,
had maybe the best game of his career, and yet they lose 32-13.
it's incredible.
That's how bad they are.
I heard somebody joking that did he get some of those sacks against his own team? Because if you put up 5 sacks, you're normally going against the other team. You're normally going to be stopping them on most of their drives. So
Right.
no, but that's funny though. Like, is he getting sacks against his own team? Because that's
That's
about the
right.
only way you could get that and still
That's
lose
right. So it's just really
decisively.
sad to see him, and you could see the frustration. He kicked a
Yeah.
Gatorade bucket
Yeah, he
over,
sat alone on the bench,
sat
just
along the bench.
sulking.
He's just
Yeah.
so bummed, and he's just praying he gets traded out of there by the trade deadline. He's so
Yeah.
stuck.
Yeah.
But what was cool is those of us who watched Travion Henderson and his explosive preseason, and then have watched him this season not get very much action. They really leaned heavily on him in this game. It's really cool to see. They're finally
Yeah. He
giving
ran.
Henderson some good touches. And Drake May continues his ascendance. People talking about him being a top 3, top 5 quarterback this year. Not making mistakes. Seems to make all the throws, makes them at the right time to the right receiver. 3 touchdowns. What are your thoughts about these two teams and how they're going in different directions?
Very, very impressed with New England. They're doing it with a lot of good players. They have a very solid foundation, really good coaching, tough. They're starting to get that culture of no excuses, no whining, just go play hard. Next man up if you're hurt. Like his DNA is the Patriots under Belichick. So they're they've got some really good players now. They did well in the draft with Trevion Henderson and Drake
Mhm.
May and a few others. They've added some nice pieces. Ramondre Stevenson is a utility knife, so to speak. It's like a Swiss Army knife. Could play a whole bunch of different positions. He's their Debo Samuel. And they've got some pretty decent, like this guy Booty. Um,
Yep.
he's always every week he has a really nice touchdown catch.
Hmm.
And they have they
They
have
got
some guys.
Hunter Henry. They got tight ends. They got
Austin Hooper,
Austin Hooper. Their defense plays better than I thought they did. They really are
Stefan
solid.
Diggs looks like he's happy, He looks
Hmm.
happy.
Right.
So they've got a nice squad. They've got a nice squad. They're building their culture up and they got a
And
good
don't
young
you think
quarterback.
Vrabel was a huge upgrade for them? I mean, he just seems to have
Tremendous.
given them a bunch of juice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know the Titans. They beat the Titans last week, and the Titans must be kicking themselves. What were we thinking? Getting rid of Vrabel. It's the
Yeah.
best thing that happened to them. So
Yeah. I can't imagine what they were thinking. I thought it was a mistake at the time.
yeah, I did too. So
I
after
really
this
did.
game, the next day after
Didn't
this
make sense they
game,
were getting rid of Vrabel. He did
true.
well there. They got rid of Henry and then they started to struggle. But Of course, you're going to struggle without Henry, you know?
So the Patriots maintain their lead in the AFC East over the Bills.
Hmm.
After the game, the Browns now have demoted Dylan Gabriel, and they're going with Shador Sanders. So that will be really interesting to see how he looks this week in their upcoming game. They've decided to kind of give him a couple starts, see what they got with him. So
Yeah, I don't know.
any thoughts about that? I know Dylan Gabriel, when I watched the film back, it just looks like he looks a little bit like Tua in his games where he doesn't have much arm strength. And he's starting to get picked off because he just kind of floats the ball out there. I don't know. What are your thoughts
It's
about that
weird. It's
quarterback
weird.
change?
I kind of liken it to the boys, um, my boys' baseball team. Oddly, it seems like if you just go out there and you pitch a kid 1 inning, he never really gets into the groove. He doesn't go through any adversity, and he doesn't really mentally go into the low of the
Mhm.
dugout after getting beat up a little bit, and then coming back out and rebuilding. And I feel like that's what they're doing with these rookie quarterbacks is they're just like pulling him after less than an inning.
Well, they
You
gave
got to
him
let them fight
three
through it.
starts. Yeah, they gave him three starts. I don't think that's enough to really know
That's
how
not
good
enough.
he is.
It's not
Yeah,
it's not even close to enough.
yeah.
I think he needs to start the rest of the season. You see what you got. If he's not very good, then you let Shador beat him out next camp.
But I will say that when they got rid of Flacco, it was clear to me they were going to do this. I really felt like they were going to give both quarterbacks a chance. And
Yeah, probably.
I thought Gabriel would get at least maybe 2 more weeks. And I knew Shador eventually would get a couple starts. They just want to know what they've got with either
I
of these guys.
I thought Gabriel would get a little banged up and they'd start Shador. I didn't think it was going to be
Because
based on performance.
because if they feel like by the end of the year neither one of these guys is a starter in this league, they're going to have to go draft somebody else. I mean,
But
it
what
just
I would argue is, how do you know still? Like, you
yeah,
don't know that Gabriel can't keep developing.
right. That's right.
Like, in fact, I would guarantee you he'll be better next year than he is this year. Like,
Mhm.
that's a no-brainer that he's
Well, look how
gonna
much better Drake May is this year than last year.
exactly.
Yeah, so
Sophomore
I
slump.
agree.
I would say it's more likely the other way that in your
Right.
second year, everything slows down a little and you can kind of pick people apart now for the first time.
It's true. This next game, we had the NFC East rivals, Eagles and Giants. Giants had shocked the Eagles earlier in the year, just a couple weeks ago. That was kind of the coming out party of Dart and Scadaboo. And Eagles very much had revenge on their mind in this game. Scadaboo scored on an early touchdown swing pass from Dart. It was a really nice play. And then
That was nice.
unfortunately had just a brutal injury. I mean, it was really hard to look at with his foot going the other direction.
Yeah.
And it was just
Fully dislocated his
it
ankle.
was so brutal. I did like this story that I heard about the security head for the Eagles going to visit him at the hospital after the
Yeah,
game. This
Big
is the
Dom.
Eagles, and he took him some pizzas and like
He took him
said,
Philly
"Hey,
cheesesteaks.
yeah, good luck, man," kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like that. Good sportsmanship. But Hurts looked really good in this game. Barkley had his best game by far this season. I mean, he really looked good. His backup running back also had a great game. He had over 100 yards too.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith had his best game of the year. Thoughts on the Eagles? Are they heating up?
I think they're fine. I think it's getting a little complicated with the AJ Brown situation, but I also think that it's getting a little bit overblown too. I believe that there's a lot of good leadership in the Eagles building, a lot of experience. Um, Hertz has the personality of one of calm demeanor and sort of a strong will, but not difficult to get along with. He likes things predictable.
Mhm.
Barkley's looking awesome, especially this week. He's had a couple of disappointing weeks in a row, but I think that was sort of a function of the Eagles hadn't played very well and weren't using him very well. Um, Devontae Smith looks awesome, and Dallas Goedert is a real weapon. I don't know. I think they look pretty good. Um,
Clay Travis is arguing in his analysis yesterday that the Eagles are a better team without A.J. Brown. And he said, I can't even believe I'm saying that because I'm a big A.J. Brown fan. But he said they play more cohesively, they play more team ball. They don't force it into tight windows to Brown like they usually do. They go to Goddard a lot more. He gets a lot more targets. He had 2 touchdowns in this game. And he believes they're a better team without A.J. Brown, which I think is an
I,
incredible take. I'm not sure I can say
I
no.
I would say this. It reminds me of the Dolphins with Tyreek.
Mm-hmm.
When the whole game plan is get the ball to Tyreek, get the ball to Tyreek, the Dolphins don't look very good.
Mm-hmm.
When he is a part of their offense and they're mixing the ball around and they're able to like dump it to him sometimes, have certain pass plays that go to Tyreek, but not every single play you're looking for Tyreek. When AJ Brown was not the star of the offense in the beginning of the season, they were winning easily.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he started to complain publicly and they started to force feed him the ball, they started to falter. Um, I think that he's definitely one of their best players. But if they have to force feed him the ball and strong arm him more than his share of plays,
But see, the problem
I
with him
think
is
they're
he
susceptible.
complains. The problem with him is he complains. I mean,
No,
Art
I
Monk
agree.
back in the day didn't
He
complain, but he
reminds me of
complains.
Stefan Diggs.
Yeah.
That's who he reminds me of.
And so what he does is he forces the play callers to force it into him, and then the Eagles get out of sorts, like you said.
The moment they do that, they get out of sorts. They don't look as good.
So are they a
So,
better team without him on the field because
so
he's
they're
not?
a better team without him complaining.
Yeah.
Yes. But if they can just get him to chill and just take his role, I think they're better with him. Does that make sense?
It does.
That's like a
It does.
nuanced
The problem is
position
they
to
haven't been able
agree
to
with.
figure out how to do that yet. Because
Well,
he looks at himself as a number
I
one
think
receiver.
normally they've been able to do it, but this season they've struggled with it. So
Mm.
that's the way I'd say that.
Now, if Saquon Barkley runs this way and his backup running back run this way, it's really
Yeah.
hard to beat the Eagles. Very few teams can beat them
Right.
if they run the ball. They had not run the ball like this before this season. So
No,
that's what I would say.
they're running the ball well. They got 5 sacks, so their defense getting pressure. They have a really good defensive line as far as against the pass.
Mhm.
They're a little soft against the run, but
So,
they did a nice job in this game because
so
obviously Scatterbo didn't have much rushing, but he got hurt. Tyrone Tracy had 39 yards and he was the leading rusher. So
mhm.
they definitely the Eagles held up against the run in this game, but I don't know if that's much of a test because I feel like the Giants' offensive line is not a great
You know what? You know what?
run
We'll
block.
see when they face Jameer Gibbs if
Right.
they can hold up
That's
against the
that's
run.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
but what about the Giants? Like they have found a little bit of juice with Jackson Dart and Scatterbo. They really have. They started to get a little bit of momentum. They won a couple games. What does this do to them to lose essentially the heartbeat of their team in Scatterbo?
It's a tremendous disappointment for them. Psychological damage is done. Scatterbo was the tough guy. The I heard they're calling him Arm and Hammer is what they call Dart and Scatterbo, Arm and Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the baking
You know,
soda.
that's actually a good name. I like
Yeah,
that.
Arm and Hammer. Yeah.
Arm and Hammer. Yeah.
And you take that away, you take the toughness away. Right here you can see he's in a cast, in a blow up
Yeah.
cast where they literally
Right.
snapped his ankle back into place, pointing straight again. And it's just
God,
it's gonna be some,
what do you think that felt like? Oh man.
oh yeah, they said that hurt. But the guy said that he'll run again. The doctor that I listened to, the orthopedic,
Yeah.
said that he thinks he's going to run again just fine. The thing
Yeah.
he's worried about is some of his ligaments, but they're going to have
Hmm.
surgery on it and should be fine. There was
Yeah.
nothing broken.
They said it's a full year recovery. So
Yeah.
that means
Yeah,
that
because those ligaments need to be put back together and
he
grow
said
back
he will
together.
likely not be ready for week one next week
Yeah,
or next
next
year.
year.
So
Yeah.
we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
But I honestly, when I saw it, I thought it was a compound fracture because it looked like bone was sticking out. but it was just dislocated bone. So
That's right. It was a
the
little
problem
less bad
is
as
the
it
ligament damage, honestly.
it wasn't as bad as it looked. That's for sure.
No,
I'll tell
he'll
you,
run it.
the Giants fans are not the only ones that are heartbroken. The entire NFL is. We loved watching
Yeah,
Armie Hammer.
yeah,
Armie
I
Hammer,
agree.
and so this is a loss
It
for the
was
NFL.
it was one of the most exciting things about the NFL this year, no question.
Mhm.
Yep.
This next game was absolutely heartbreaking for me. I've got my
By the way,
P.
the Giants are 0-5 away.
I saw that.
They cannot win on the road
This next game
because
is really.
their defense and their running game just doesn't travel.
This next game is really heartbreaking for me to watch. It literally had to turn it off in the second half. It was so painful. I got my Panther jersey on today, but they did not have Bryce Young, so they started Andy Dalton, and he looked like a rookie in his second game. He was so
Yeah.
nervous. He kept dropping the ball, fumbling it, throwing really bad picks over the middle. I don't know what happened to him. I really don't. He really played really poorly. I don't think if he had played the best game of his life, they would have won this game. I think the Bills are that much better, but it really hurt the Panthers to try to be competitive in this game, all the turnovers. James Cook just absolutely went off. He had a couple of really long runs, including a long touchdown run.
I
He
think he
looked,
had the best performance of the day in the
he
NFL.
did, he did, and he looked like a top three back, like he should,
Yeah. Yeah.
for what they're compensating him. The one
Tom,
guy,
I've been saying it. I've been saying it. He's the MVP of the Bills.
he
When
is
he goes
fantastic.
off like that, they win. When it's all on Josh Allen, they lose. It's
I agree,
just that simple.
100% agree. The only guy who had a really big day for the Panthers was McMillan. He continues to really shine as a rookie. He's
Hmm.
having really kind of a standout year. But
Yeah.
otherwise,
Coker's a nice player, you know.
this game was very forgettable. I do think it would have been much closer if Bryce Young had played. He's been kind of in the groove
I
lately.
will tell you there's one little bit of controversy that's sort of brewing up, and that's the running back position.
Yes,
They were fielding a lot of questions before the game about how would you feel, Chuba Hubbard, if Rico Dowdle becomes RB1, and they got in their heads.
I think it did.
Um,
I think it did. Although
and I think the competition has started there where they're starting to not root for each other. I think there's just a little bit of an issue.
there's a little
They
bit, but the
they're
coach
both
wanted
saying
to.
the right things, but I'm feeling that the body language doesn't match the teamwork level of,
The
you know,
coach wanted to maintain the principle that you don't lose your job to injury. And so for 2 weeks in a row, he started Chuba Hubbard. What we've seen is Chuba's about half as effective as Rico is right now.
Yeah.
He just is. And so after 2 straight weeks of really poor running performances, after the Panthers had been the best rushing team in the NFL for a couple weeks, yesterday, Canales just announced Rico is now RB1. So that has been put to bed, and Chuba is going to be the backup now. So, and that's just by merit, just by performance.
Yeah,
The other
that's
thing
right.
is most people think that Rico's going to leave in the offseason. He has a 1 year deal, and he's going to leave and go get the big money. And so, you want to go ahead and get all the production you can this year out of him because
I guess.
you can try to keep him, but it's going to cost a lot of money. But
Yeah.
go ahead and put your most productive back in there and let him start. And that's what Panther fans expect. So. But this was a really poor performance all around. The defense
It
was just
was.
Swiss cheese. Allen didn't have to do very much. And the Panthers have a real backup quarterback problem when Dalton plays like that.
Buffalo had 7 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
They
It was.
absolutely manhandled Andy Dalton.
It's been a couple years since I've had to change the channel on my Panthers. I just couldn't
Yeah.
watch it anymore. It was just so painful. So I want to
I
hope
kind of
we'll.
I actually felt bad for AJ Espinoza when he didn't get into the end zone. And that's so
Yeah,
bad because
I know.
I'm rooting for the Panthers. But I felt like
Mm.
that guy did such a nice play. He should have gotten in and he didn't. And
I
so I
just
was like,
hope this is one of those games that you just chalk it up to a stinker. Your starting QB is not playing. You're not playing your best running back, and next week you can kind of have a really good week of practice and kind of get back on the schneid. So we'll see. This next game, the Ravens get their first win in a month and a half. They go to 2-5. They really needed this win against the Bears. It was at home. The Tyler Huntley was a
Huntley
late.
had a nice game.
He was a late start for this game, and actually, apparently, the
Yeah.
Ravens are getting fined because they did not give enough information or notice about Lamar not playing. It was a late scratch, so they're going to get a
Yeah, well,
fine for that.
there was a controversy about that, about how they clearly were just trying to make the uh the Bears prepare for Lamar.
Yeah, it's gamesmanship.
Um,
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
gamesmanship. They shouldn't have done that.
Right, but Huntley played particularly well for a backup who
Yeah,
hadn't played in a
he
long
did.
time. And Derrick Henry had a really big day, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Caleb
he was
Williams
very.
had good numbers, but if you really look at the way he played in this game, the same thing is happening week after week after week. It's what Colin Cowherd talks all the time about Caleb Williams. He's really good in the first 14 scripted plays.
Mhm.
And then after that, it's just Wild West. You don't know what he's going to do. He misses short, he misses long, he overthrows receivers, he throws bad picks, he makes bad decisions, he holds the ball too long, gets
He
sacked.
holds the ball too long. Yeah,
Odunze had 7 catches for
he looked
114,
he looked
but
great.
he had 14 targets. So that's how many times
Yeah,
Caleb
yeah,
Williams missed his best receiver.
yeah.
So, any thoughts about this game and any surprises that Huntley pulled it off?
I mean, a little bit, because the Ravens haven't looked good without Lamar. But Derrick Henry had a solid performance, not his best, but very solid. No, he got his 2 touchdowns, and Zay Flowers 63 yards. So some of their stars got the ball a little bit more, which is good. But Huntley just made plays when it became necessary,
Mhm.
and the defense for the Ravens came to play.
It
You
played a
know,
little better than it has
they
been, for
played
sure.
much better than
Yeah,
they have been.
right.
So
Are
I
the,
wouldn't say surprise, but kind of
do
kind of
you
surprise.
do you think Ben McDonald is starting to scratch his head a little bit with his number one pick now? I mean, he's already had a lot of body
But
language
yeah,
issues where
remember,
he gets frustrated.
it's not his number one pick.
I know. So
You
what do
know,
you think
it's
is the relationship there? How do you think that's going to go forward? He really wants to
I
put
think
in his
he
full offense, but he's had to dumb it down a little bit.
I think he wants out of the Caleb experiment,
I think so too.
but there's nothing he can do about it.
You and I both called him as a bust.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can quite call him a bust yet, but
I
it's
wouldn't call him
starting.
a bust, but I would call him he's going to be the least of that group, because they're not bringing him along properly.
Mhm. What else do you think they could do? I mean, he just has these tendencies that is really hard to get out, and he's very
What do
kind
I
of
think they could do? Not
reckless with
start
the
him.
ball. Yeah, he's
I
reckless
think
with the ball at
he
times.
should be watching.
Remember how good Badgley was in the preseason? Everyone was saying start Badgley.
Yeah.
Maybe just give us
I, I'd
Badgley.
I'd be letting him watch and carry a clipboard.
Mhm.
I think your future is bright with him learning slowly. But
Mhm.
learning out there on the fly like that, he's going to get hurt, and he's losing a lot and shaking his confidence, shaking the
He's
confidence
definitely losing
of
confidence for sure.
of the team in him. You know, the team's losing
Right.
confidence in him. So the media is starting to savage him. It's getting weird. He's
It
becoming a
is.
meme. You know,
That's right.
he's
He
becoming a
is.
meme.
Maybe take
I
him out
was
to protect him from
I was
himself.
watching Annie Ager, and she was talking about something about his painted fingertips. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got sort of Cam Newtonitis, where he's too easy to make fun of.
that's true. That's true. This next game I thought was the most surprising game of the week. Just if you were picking it on DraftKings, I would have picked the 49ers probably on money line, but I would have picked them. It was at Texans. Texans had played particularly badly 2 weeks in a row. And CJ Stroud, everyone was starting to really wonder if he really was the quarterback we saw in his rookie year. And all of a sudden, he had his best performance of the season by far with 318 and 2 touchdowns, and just was sharp all day. It was really wild to watch. Really played well, and 49ers were just flat. Mac Jones couldn't get anything going. The running game wasn't really there. Thoughts about this game and the Texans taking this one down?
It's the weirdest thing. I actually called this. Um, I had a whole conversation with one of my sons who was trading out a bunch of players furiously that were injured and or on bye weeks in his fantasy league. And I told him go on and get some Texans because they're gonna probably have a big day. And he got their defense and
Why
all
did
this
you
stuff.
have that feeling?
I don't know. I felt like that San Fran is a decent team, but they're sort of their record is better than their team is. I feel like they have problems. No Fred Warner,
Hmm.
no Nick Bosa. They're just paying tremendous amounts of money for players that aren't playing.
Well,
And they're
they
getting
come into this
older, they're
game.
getting banged up.
We talked about the 49ers were a miraculous 5-2 coming into this game. No one could understand how they
Yeah.
were doing it with Mac Jones. He was
Yeah. And
playing really well, though, and he didn't play well in this game. So I think 49ers have got to get good quarterback play to win. Uh,
McCaffrey's been playing well.
mhm,
Overall, didn't play great in this game. Juwan Jennings has been playing well, didn't play great in this game. The person who I'd say that I noticed seemed back a little bit was Kittle.
mhm.
He seemed a little bit, you know,
That was the
like like
nicest
like
throw
himself.
Mac Jones made the whole day was that one to Kittle
Yeah,
for the touchdown. That was a nice
yeah,
throw.
for sure. But I don't
But
know. I felt like Houston was gonna have a good day and they did. They had a nice day.
so for
Uh,
Houston to make the playoffs, they're likely going to have to go on a big run here because they're already pretty far behind in their division.
yeah, I don't think they're going to the playoffs.
So they're not going to probably win their division, it looks like. But can they go on a run that's good enough to make the wild card? You think it's
Can
possible?
they or do I think they will?
Well, both.
I do not think they will, but yes, they can.
Hmm.
Because their division's not that great. I mean, the Colts are
Right.
great, but
Jaguars are just okay.
Jaguars are a little improved, but they're beatable for sure,
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know if they play that way, and CJ plays like that, they have a chance to stack up enough wins to get in there. I
Maybe.
think. So we'll
I
see.
just felt this one coming. I don't know. I don't feel beyond this game, but I felt like this was gonna happen. I
Hmm.
even told you right at the beginning of this game, I felt like they were
Yeah,
gonna get it. And
that's right.
yeah. And then San Fran scored, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I called it too early, but I really feel like they're gonna get it, and they did. So
So
anyway,
this next game was really wild because the Buccaneers win very comfortably, 23-3. Saints just couldn't do anything all day. Their defense is starting to fold. The Saints are starting to get banged up on defense. And what was weird was Baker didn't really do much in this game. He was really,
yeah,
it
his
was kind
stats
of
were
a
pitiful.
very
Yeah,
much a subpar performance for him. And
yeah,
they ran the ball well. They played good defense, got a couple turnovers, and that's all it took.
yeah.
So, thoughts about this one?
Well, first of all, the Bucks are 4-1 away, so they play well on the road. Um, that's because Baker is good under pressure, you know. Um, the turnovers, they won the turnover battle 4-1. That's a pretty big
Hmm.
balancing.
Yep.
Um,
You're
and
not going to beat the Bucks if you turn over 4 times. This is not going to. I don't care who
yeah,
you are.
yeah. The biggest difference in the game was the Bucks D.
Right.
They really wreaked
Very
havoc.
good.
But I will say that the Saints, they won most of the stat categories.
Hmm.
So not all of them, but enough to where if you looked at it, you'd be puzzled, not sure
They
who
just
won the game.
they just can't score. I mean, that's
They
what it is.
just can't score. Yeah, they can't
This
turn it
kid,
into points.
this kid Shahid has been great for me on my fantasy team all year. I've been really happy with him. He
Yeah,
always gets me
yeah,
consistent points.
yeah. He's
So
he's been good.
interestingly enough, after this game, um, they just benched Radler yesterday. They
Hmm.
decided to go the rest of the season with Tyler Show to see what they got. They're sitting at 1-7. There's no reason not to try him out. They're not going to make
I
the
don't
playoffs.
know. It seems like a mistake to me.
Yeah, so they
They
want to see what
threw
they
him a
have.
lot
So
too.
yeah,
They threw Show a lot.
yeah, they've been
He
mixing them
had
in,
um he had 30 throws, and he came in off the bench.
right, right.
Oof, I don't know. Like that's not a strategy. I don't. I think that's
Maybe they've
malpractice.
decided Rattler's not the guy,
Maybe
and
so, but you don't bring Show in on his first start and throw it 30 times in a half or whatever.
yeah,
I like nobody ran the ball.
I'm
Kamara
curious
had
to see
21 yards rushing as the leading rusher.
if Show can develop because so far it's been very inaccurate, to say the least.
We'll see.
So yeah. This next game was pretty wild. You had the Cowboys coming in with a really good offensive performance after offensive performance.
Hmm.
They played okay. They scored in almost every situation, but played a really high-powered and really well-playing Bo Nix-led offense. And the Broncos defense made just enough plays and really made Dak uncomfortable in a lot of situations, to the point where it really ended up turning into a blowout. The Broncos also ran the ball really well in this game.
Yeah.
Tony Franklin with 2 touchdowns. He was their pick last year.
J.K. Dobbins had a
Yeah.
nice game.
Bo Nix had one really bad throw, and he always does. And it was just an inexplicable pick at the beginning of the game
Yeah.
to allow the Cowboys to go up 7-0. But after that, Broncos were clearly the better team in this one. So your take on Broncos Cowboys?
Broncos just, I really like the way Bo Nix moved the ball around to a lot of different receivers. He didn't rely on one guy, but he had a bunch of guys get in the 40 yard range, 40 to 60, just lots of production. And they ran the ball well. So did you see some of the blocks from the offensive
Yeah,
line of
yeah,
of
I did.
Denver? There was one guy had three pancake blocks, well, two pancakes and a smash of another guy, a third block of a very solid block on one play. It was
Mm-hmm.
awesome. It was so good. The guy just came off the line, blasted through, tore up,
Mm-hmm.
a linebacker, obliterated a safety downfield, turned around, hit a defensive lineman. It was like, oh my God. It looked like Quentin Nelson or something.
And by the way, this was Schottenheimer versus Sean Payton. It felt like a coaching mismatch. I mean, it felt like Sean Payton was
Yeah.
clearly the better play caller here.
Yeah, I agree.
And then this kid Harvey scored 3 touchdowns for the Broncos and hadn't done much all year, but he is a backup running back for them, and he used to be the backup quarterback at the University of Virginia some years back.
Mhm.
He was actually the
Mhm.
backup to Bryce Perkins, which I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And he ended up transferring out of Virginia and going to a different school and got turned into a running back at that other school.
Yeah.
But he ran 2 plays where it was direct snap to him in this game, which was really cool because he is an ex-quarterback. So he's kind of becoming a weapon for Denver, kind of like a special,
Oh, no doubt.
toolkit. So that was cool to see an ex-Wahoo get a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah. And then as always, Denver has the best secondary in the NFL. So it just puts so much pressure on Dallas,
It does.
who still can't really run the ball, even though they have a good running back. They're not able to turn that into a lot of rushing yardage.
You know,
But
Dallas's defense was bad coming into this season, but
yeah,
I almost felt sorry for them because did you know that in this game they did not start their starting 2 cornerbacks or their starting 2 safeties? They had all 4 of their backfield out. And that's when they're already a bad defense. So
yeah,
I was just like, they just looked horrible in the secondary. I mean, just
right.
you could have gotten 300 yards passing. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what Cowboys are going to do. They asked Jerry Jones after the game, "Are you going to trade for some help before the deadline? Try to get another corner or two?" And he essentially said, I couldn't believe it. Talk about being frank and open. He said, "I don't think it would help this team." That's what he said.
Hmm.
So he's not even trying to improve the
That's
defense.
funny.
I know. Like, what do you mean
Whose
it's not
fault
going
is
to help?
that, Jerry?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. It feels like he's kind of thrown it in a little bit and realized that this Cowboys team isn't going anywhere. So that's what it
Yeah.
feels like. This next game, the Colts demolish the Titans. Every time I think, maybe some other team is the worst team, like the Jets or somebody, I watch the highlights of the Titans. And I just realized they're just devoid of talent.
They're
It's kind of
so bad.
sad. And Jonathan Taylor just went off again. Jones had a really nice, efficient day, 3 touchdowns. Pittman,
Listen to this. Jonathan Taylor is the first player in NFL history to score 3 touchdowns, 3 games in a row.
wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep.
He's one short
He's
of how many
he's the league
Saquon.
MVP. I don't care what anyone says about
I agree.
quarterbacks.
I agree.
I said that a couple weeks ago,
He's incredible.
and he's getting better. Like if that's
He
even possible.
he's one short of Saquon last year, and
Yeah.
Saquon was second in MVP. Yeah. Anything
Yeah.
you can say about this Colts team? I mean, did anything
There's
surprise you anymore?
there's no way to overstate how important Jonathan Taylor has been this year to the success of Daniel Jones, the way they're moving the ball, even their defensive success stems from just a mentality that Jonathan Taylor is going to score. So we just have to go in there and hold, and hold the line and play loose, like
You were
the
talking
confidence
about
that he's brought is just incredible.
how the Broncos' offensive and defensive lines were playing, but
Yeah.
I have not seen any team this year that has a better combination offensive defensive line as the Colts. They literally deplete people. It's crazy. So Jonathan Taylor, yes, he's fantastic, but there's a reason that
I
he's
don't know. I
fantastic.
kind of feel like the
Some of
Lions
the
too.
holes, yeah, true. Some
The
of the
Lions.
holes Taylor's getting are you could drive a Mack truck through.
Yeah.
So it's a
But
combination
honestly,
of Taylor.
even when the blocking's not perfect like that, he just is going to explode through that hole and run with fury. Like he's
True,
a combination of speed and power that I'm not seeing it really in too many places in the NFL right now.
true. They are incredibly impressive, man. I think they're the only team that can challenge the Chiefs in the AFC. That's the way I look at it.
In fact, I think that the Chiefs need to try and challenge the Colts because I think the Colts are the best team in the AFC right now.
They may be. They
In
may be.
fact, I was thinking about it today. I said, I want to call my shot. I think the best Super Bowl matchup that there is Lions Colts.
Yeah.
That is the Super Bowl I want to see. I haven't heard anybody else say that. That's my take.
I
I
tell
think
you,
that would be an incredible, incredible Super Bowl.
in the AFC Championship game, if you force me to bet on that game, I'm still picking the Chiefs just because of the coaching. So, but it'd be really, really good game. I'd love to see it. Patrick,
To me, it comes down to is Jonathan Taylor able to pound the ball against that defense? And if so, other things are going to open up because of it. They have nice receiving core, Pittman and Downs and these guys.
yeah, they
They've
have so
added
many
Tyler
weapons.
Warren at
Yeah,
tight end,
right.
and they have a guy throwing the ball who's a tall, prototypical athletic quarterback. He's real quick-footed. He's got a good arm. He's a good decision maker. He's smart. Went to
Can,
Duke. Um,
can see
just
over the line.
yeah,
Yeah,
they have it all. They have the
right.
whole package
They
now.
do.
They have the offensive line. They have defense. They have the running game.
Right.
They can travel in bad weather.
True.
I don't know.
This next game,
Injuries could take them out. That's the only thing I think.
they're calling the Aaron Rodgers Bowl. You had the Packers go into Pittsburgh to play the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers, their ex-quarterback. They had a moment before the game where Rodgers went over and greeted all the Packers. There are a lot of those guys he knows really well. And so they had a nice moment there, and then they got to football. And I never felt like from the beginning of this game, even when the Steelers were leading, which they were for a while, I never felt like they were the better team. I felt like the Packers were always the best team here. Jordan Love played really, really well, especially in the fourth quarter. Tyler Kraft, I think he might be the
Yeah.
best tight end in football. I really do. He's
Yeah.
been
I
coming
think
on and coming on.
he's awesome.
He is just so good. It's unbelievable how he plays. He's
Yeah.
the size of a tight end, and he plays like a wide receiver.
Yeah. He's
His
awesome.
his yards after the catch, I've never seen anything like it other than Kelsey.
I got him on
Yeah.
my notes. You have to talk about him because, like if you're
So
gonna look at this game.
what's your take on this one? I saw Aaron Rodgers was kind of frustrated after the game. He realized that he
So
tried to will
what
his
I'm
team.
gonna say, is this. If you're gonna be fair, both quarterbacks played really well.
They did.
Um, there was no Tucker Craft on Pittsburgh side. Freiermuth always does pretty well, but DK Metcalf had an okay game. At the end of the day, both quarterbacks played well, but the more effective offense was Green Bay. And, their defense played well. I mean, look at some of the stats on it. Yardage 454 to 245 or 295, sorry. Red zone 3 for 5 for the Packers and 1 of 1 for Pittsburgh. So the Packers got down in the red zone a bunch of times. And one thing that was interesting, there were 2 moments where you could really see Aaron Rodgers um, be that cranky old veteran at the young guys.
Hmm.
Did you see these plays? One was when Warren, the rookie running back, took the handoff and then turned around and pitched it back to Aaron Rodgers
Hmm.
as if he had heard flea flicker. But Aaron Rodgers catches it and panics because it wasn't a flea flicker. It was supposed to be a running play. And so Aaron Rodgers starts to run for his life to his right and he just throws it in the dirt. And then he comes back and you could see him lighting up Warren. And those are the
Hmm.
little cracks in the armor where you don't feel like they're a team. I mean, look at the Giants. You've got Jackson Dart headbutting Scattaboo. You know,
Yeah,
they're tight bros, like
yeah,
and then
yeah.
but you got the
Even when he's being
Steelers,
carted off, he headbutted him.
he
So,
headbutted him
yeah,
being carted off because that's
right.
their thing. Um, and that's like saying, love you, man, and all that. And so you've got guys that are going to play for each other, but meanwhile, you got Aaron Rodgers chewing out the rookie running back for throwing the flea flicker back to him when that wasn't even what the play was.
Right.
Instead of going, hey man, that wasn't a flea flicker, like just fix the rookie, you light the rookie up. And then the other thing was when they threw a touchdown, Aaron Rodgers, and he's running down the field, and some huge offensive lineman came and like tackled him out
Tackled
of
him. Yeah,
happiness.
I saw that. Yeah.
And he gets up all pissed off. It's hilarious. It's like, get off my lawn,
But,
you know?
but
But
you know what the problem?
he has a good point. Like, hey, I'm 41 years old. Like, you can't tackle me like that. You're 340 pounds. You're
But
going to hurt me.
the Steelers are sitting at 4-3, but they're at 4-3 because of their offense this year. Most years
Yeah.
their defense is amazing and their offense is just totally feckless, and they've gotten rid of quarterback after quarterback. This year it's the opposite. Their defense is the highest paid in football. They pay
So high paid. And there's,
$123 million of payroll to their defense, and yet
yeah,
apparently on sports radio every week in Pittsburgh this year, everyone's asking, where is the defense? I mean, the
it's hard to
Packers,
explain.
there was no pressure in the second half at all. Jordan Love was
No pressure.
completely comfortable in the pocket. He's sitting back there, sitting back there, sitting back there. He's got all these receivers and routes. And so, what do you think is the issue this year with this Steelers defense? They just can't get it
I
done.
don't know exactly. I feel like the Steelers just and by the way, the Steelers are in as bad a division as there is.
Right.
I mean, the Bengals and the Browns are terrible. And the Ravens are terrible. Like there's no good team in their division this year. And so it's weird. It's really weird. But I think that they've overpaid for a couple players. They kind of remind me of the 49ers. They're better on paper than in reality, you know?
You remember in week 2, the Steelers won 34-32 against the Jets. And
Yeah.
the Steelers defense made Justin Fields look like a Pro Bowler in that game.
I'm looking
You're
up
talking the Jets.
I'm
And
looking up the defensive stats for the whole league.
yeah,
And the Steelers are 28th out of 32.
exactly.
And
Right.
it's not good enough.
It's really poor.
And they don't have a dynamic, prolific offense.
So
The
you were
offense
pointing out
is
a bunch of problems on the offense, and I agree. There was a couple of those moments that, people getting chippy or whatever. But the
yeah,
bottom line, if you really analyze this game and many of the Steelers games this year, even some of the ones they won, their defense is not performing. It's just not.
it's not
And
it's not intimidating. It's not Steeler football.
and Mike Tomlin must just be pulling his hair out in film study because he's a defensive guy. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why they flipped this year, but they have. So this last game last night, another painful one for me and for you and for Dad. Commanders, very shorthanded, start Marcus Mariota. They have one of their running backs out. They had several offensive linemen out, and they lost another one in this game. They have a bunch of DBs out. They have one of their linebackers out. They could barely field a team against the Super Bowl champs. And, the Commanders kind of held it off in the first half. It was 7-7.5, but you just knew what was coming, and the Chiefs just took care of business.
It's funny. Andy Reid said it best. He said it was an ugly first half, super sloppy, but oddly enough, it didn't mean points. Neither side really scored many points with all these mistakes and turnovers and just ugliness. And then the Chiefs got their act together after halftime and started to take control. But I think Andy Reid's right. I think it was an ugly first half, a first half where either team could have gotten a little bit hot and made a run, but it never happened.
Now, Mariota was
Oddly enough, Washington just couldn't run the ball.
Yeah, that's right.
So they became one-dimensional, and then
it's interesting. Mariota was a little better than the week before.
Yeah.
He didn't make as many mistakes, which was great. He did have Debo, and he had Scary Terry McLaurin. His best throw of the night was a touchdown to McLaurin in the end zone. It was really nice to see Scary Terry have his first touchdown of the year in his first action of the year.
McLaurin with that beautiful goes in.
But other than that, Commanders' offense was just dead in the water. And, unless they get some guys back, I think this is going to be a really long season.
Couple of stats that jumped out. Rushing yards, 60 for Washington, 148 for Kansas City. It's just not good enough. 14 first downs for Washington, 26 for Kansas City.
Yep.
And 260 total yards for Washington and 432 for Kansas City. So you're just looking at kind of one team's offense was performing and the other just sputtered.
It's true.
Yeah. It just wasn't a good game for the Commanders. I don't think they had a great game plan. It was bad execution, and they were missing their starters.
So that was our NFL rundown. Let's take a look at the baseball. It started last week on Friday night. You had the Blue Jays surprisingly win game 1, 11-4. There was a lot of offense in this game. What's interesting is teams that win game 1 of the World Series win 69% of the time, the series. I thought that was really interesting. So, all the sports gambling sites and odds and everything all shifted after this game because Toronto found themselves in a 1-0 position. In the back of my mind, I thought to myself, they're still playing the best team in the world, which is the Dodgers. Any thoughts about Blue Jays winning game 1 and anything to take from it?
I think I saw that game coming, but I thought it was going to come after the Dodgers went up a couple games. I felt like there was going to be one blowout game for the Blue Jays in the series.
Because of their offense. They got
really good yeah. And I didn't think it was going to be game 1. But the Dodgers are just as impressive as advertised. I mean, they're just so good. They're such money. You can't just pitch around Ohtani and be okay because there's other guys that are going to hurt you.
It's insane. And we'll get to that game here in a minute. But yeah. It's insane.
It was just unbelievable.
It was. But this is one of those games, like you said, we knew it was going to happen once or twice in this series. It just happened to happen in game 1. So,
yeah.
Impressive win by the Blue Jays. Game 2, Dodgers come back and win 5-1. You had Freeman hit a home run. You had Ohtani had a bunch of hits.
Yamamoto pitched the whole game.
Was astounding, pitching all 9 innings.
It was unbelievable.
Complete game. And the Dodgers tie the series. So any thoughts about
And that was in Toronto. That was in Toronto.
Thoughts about Yamamoto's performance?
Yamamoto was the star of that game, I think. And, I don't know. They just have a really good lineup. I mean,
what a great first 2 games to start the series, though. If you want a good series, you need it to be competitive. And what a great way to start both games.
Yeah, I agree.
So then last night, of course, you have this fantastic game goes into the 18th inning,
Yeah.
which was a World Series record, by the way. Before this was the 16th.
Yeah.
So this is the most innings ever played, the most at bats, the most pitches, the most everything we've ever seen in a World Series game. Ohtani, this is incredible. He got 4 hits, 4 intentional walks.
Hmm.
2 of his hits were home runs. It's
He got a
just
fifth intentional walk in that they pitched to him, but they
just
were
around him.
pitching way outside, way inside.
Right.
Like they
So
weren't
he,
giving him
he was
anything.
on base 9 out of 9 times
Yep.
on base.
Yep.
I don't think it's ever been done before.
It's never happened before.
Have you ever seen a guy they are so scared to pitch against as this guy? It's just
No.
crazy.
The only thing that's comparable is Bonds, but I think this is even more so.
They just will not pitch to him. They
Yeah.
refuse. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's so good under pressure. The more high power the pressure is, the more your pitcher is going to fold and throw him a meatball, and he's going to just
Mhm.
mash it.
That's right.
I think the star of the show yesterday was Will Klein.
Yeah. He was great.
This
Oh
guy,
my
he
goodness.
pitched 4 innings, was it?
Yeah.
Um, he's been on 3 rosters this year. He didn't even start the playoffs on the Dodgers starting roster.
Right.
He was somehow like a backup or something, uh,
Mhm.
or like listed as a minor league player or something. And they have enough faith in this guy to put him out there in these important
Well,
finish him off innings.
he was the pitching star of the game, but I think Ohtani was clearly the hitting star of this game
Yeah,
because
I
he
agree.
he changes the whole game. I mean, literally the
No
whole game is
question.
with him.
No question.
And then
But
for Freddie Freeman,
this game was so wild. I mean, there was just incredible pitching, incredible hitting. There were home runs. The stars were stars. The fielding was amazing. They were gunning people out at home. There was this one play where the Dodger went running and he slid to his left, snagged the ball, popped up all in one play and gunned
mhm.
the guy out at third. It- I've been showing the boys some of these highlights. Just this is how it's done. Like it looked like major league players playing at the highest level they possibly can, and it's just such good baseball.
It's
I mean,
truly
I
insane.
honestly believe I've heard people saying last night's game was the greatest baseball play game ever played in the World Series.
It could
I
be.
think that might be right. I
It's
mean,
possible. It's
I know that
possible.
we
Yeah.
all have recency bias, so we always want to have just seen the greatest whatever. But I would put that up against any game
And then
because
and then for
it,
Freddie Freeman to step up in the 18th
yeah,
and hit a bomb to win it. It's just what
I
a
know.
classic way to end it.
18 innings.
Yeah. They're
Yeah,
pitching around Ohtani the whole game, and then
yeah.
another guy steps up to the plate and hits it. So,
And
I
I
don't know.
know that when this broadcasts, this game will already be in the books, but as of right now, it's 1-0 Dodgers.
Yep.
And Ohtani's pitching and
What's amazing, if you look at the score 1-0, they've already intentionally walked Ohtani once, and they're just not going to pitch to him. They just refuse. There's been a
I
big debate the last 2 days on all the sports radios in the whole country about whether there should be some kind of cap put on for intentional walks. And the debate is that, if you don't put a cap on, you're going to have this situation where the fans don't get to see what they want, which is Ohtani swinging the bat. And
me
essentially
I
everyone's just going to pitch around him every game.
me
So,
personally, I think that the better team needs to win, which means not the one that has the superstar player on it, but the one who the superstar player goes to first and the rest of the team needs to bring him in. And
yeah,
I'm
that's
fine
true.
with that. I mean, there's a price to pay for pitching out somebody. Um, you
So,
give him a free pass to the go to the base. So, you know, in a tight series, that's all you need sometimes is one
that's right.
guy on. So I
So you
think that
still,
there's a plenty of plenty of um plenty of penalty to pay for pitching around Ohtani is what I'm
you,
saying.
you still feeling like this is going to go 6? What's your feeling?
Yeah, I think the Blue Jays will get one back home
Hmm.
and then the Dodgers will finish them off.
I
I
think so
thought it
too.
was going to go 3-0. I predicted 3-0 and then the Blue Jays were going to blast the Dodgers in game 4 and then maybe really tight game 5, possibly Dodgers or Blue Jays win, and then Dodgers finish them off in 6.
Yeah.
But that can't happen because in game 1 is when the Dodgers got blasted. So it's kind of interesting. Blue Jays are kind of reeling a little bit, even though I don't want to overstate it. They certainly can come back. It hasn't gone so far. Down 2-1 though, and that was a disgusting loss for them. Like that was a really long game.
It's interesting. Our president is over in Japan right now, and apparently, everyone he talked to in the entire Japanese delegation, all they wanted to ask him about was Ohtani. Have you met Ohtani? Have you gone to see Ohtani play? He's literally like a national obsession in Japan. That's all they talk about.
What's
They want
incredible to watch Ohtani walk up to the huddle where they're celebrating Freeman's hit. He's the tallest player probably on the
he
team.
is. He is. But you know
I
what's
didn't
happening
realize he
over
was
there?
that tall.
You know what's happening, Robbie, is people over there are waking up at 4 in the morning,
Yeah,
including students who have to go to school. The students
yeah,
and the parents are waking up at 4 a.m. and they're watching these Dodger games. And then they're
yeah,
going to work in school after the game's over. That's how
yeah,
obsessed that country is. And even the delegation, you're talking about the government leaders are asking our government about Ohtani. Have they seen him play? Have they
yeah.
met him? Have they shaken his hand?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Springer being out of the lineup is really hurting the Blue Jays. He gives them a steadiness.
It's true. It's true.
He came up with a huge game-winning home run. I feel like they've got a lot of fight in them, though. I think the Blue Jays are not going to go away quietly. The Dodgers are
Well,
going to probably win the series and probably, um,
Guerrero just hit a 2-run home run.
yep. So
Wow.
there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Like they're not going to go down quietly.
He's
They're
their
going to,
best player. Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's be
And it's,
exciting to see this World Series go. I think it'll go 6 or 7, probably 6, and we'll
yeah.
just have to see who comes out on top. Both of us think it'll be the Dodgers. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, last thing we're
Most,
going to look
most
at
likely.
tonight is let's take a quick look at the standings in the NBA so far, and there's some surprising teams. You got the Bulls leading the East,
Hmm.
along with the 76ers. The Cavaliers were really good last year. They're right back up there again. And then how about my Charlotte Hornets? Winning
Yeah.
2 out of the first 3, and a couple of their really high picks, including Canuple, who comes from Duke, really
Hmm.
playing well. Really kind of exciting to see some of these new teams kind of getting up towards the top now.
Obviously, the sample size is way too small to see any trends, but sometimes basketball is one of these things where adding one player can really change the
Yeah,
team.
and
That's
they've
not
added
really
about
true in
4
football.
players, you know?
If you add
Mm,
one player in football, it can make a difference psychologically,
mhm,
but on the field, it's not usually that big of a difference. Um, in basketball, one player can make a huge difference on the court.
mhm, for sure.
And so sometimes these teams can turn it around real quickly because they've added 2 or 3 players
That's
and that
right.
are really impact players. So, but yeah, it's exciting and it's kind of fun and it's way too early. But
Way too early because you look at some of the teams down at the bottom here, and I think towards the end
yeah,
of the year, they'll
Boston,
be
come on.
like Orlando's really good, and they started
Yeah,
winning
that's a
too.
good team.
Boston, the Indiana
Indiana's good,
Pacers
you know,
were in the finals. So,
but this is after 3 games, so
right,
it's okay.
right, right, but it's just interesting to see a little bit of a flipping in the East. In the West, of course, the
Mhm.
team that is the absolute craze of the world right now is the San Antonio Spurs. They
Yeah.
have picked in the top 5 picks in the NBA draft for 5 straight seasons, and it feels a lot like the Detroit Lions after they went 0-16, or the Browns who went 1-15, or some of these teams that draft year after year after year and all of a sudden get good, like the OKC Thunder did. All of a sudden, these teams that have been drafting top 5 for so many years are now good, and you got Spurs and Thunder sitting on top of the West, along with the Golden State Warriors right behind. Surprising for you that some of these teams that have drafted so well are now up there at the top?
No, no, not surprising because, like I said, a single player or two can really shift a team's talent level, performance. athleticism, the way they play defense, the way they play half court offense, the way they run. There's so much change can happen so quickly. It's really hard to turn around a football program. It's not hard to turn around a basketball team if you get the right mix of players and coaching. So
So you really have like the top 5 players in the league right now are all foreign players,
yeah,
every single one of them, and they're all in the West. It's kind of wild.
it is
Now,
wild.
would you start your team right now if you're an NBA GM? Would you start it with Gilgeous
Wemby,
Alexander from OKC? Would you start with Wemby, who a lot of
Wemby,
people think might be the best player in the league, or would you start with Jokic? Out of those
no
three,
question, Wemby, no question.
why Wemby?
Because we're starting to see a special skill level uh, emerge that we may never have seen before.
I agree. I agree. He has skills that go across multiple positions. Like we've
Yeah,
never seen that before. Maybe Magic Johnson at 6'10", the way he was able to run a fast break, that's pretty close to it, but this guy's 7 inches taller than that. So,
he grew 2 inches in the offseason. Now he's 7'5",
right,
and he's put on 20 or 30 pounds of muscle. I'm not sure
right.
exactly how much, but a
He
lot.
doesn't get pushed
He's
around anymore.
thicker.
Yeah,
He doesn't get
that's
pushed
right.
around. He's rejecting shots all over the place. He's not Manute Bol out there where people would go in and dunk in his face.
You had
He,
Charles Barkley say that he made a play the other day that he'd never seen before in his life. He blocked the ball
yeah,
3 times on the same possession.
yeah,
And then on the third block, it came down to his feet. He grabs it. He runs the break by running it like a point guard,
yeah.
gets down to the
It's
other end of the floor and puts it through his legs twice to fake out the guy who was guarding him, and then
at
drains a three.
7'5".
Yeah, it's about 5, and then drains a three. And he
Yeah,
and everybody in the NBA, including Hall of Famers, see that and go, "Whoa!
they go,
Oh
"What
my!
kind of sorcery is
Like
this?"
what is this?
I know. Yeah, no,
How is he playing like that?"
I don't know.
Why do you think the top 5 players are all foreign players? I can't figure that out. What is it about?
Oh, well, it goes back to what Gino Ariama said. It's foreign players spend more time practicing all the
Mhm,
skill levels, and they play a little bit of games. Like,
mhm,
for instance, they'll have 2 or 3 practices a week and 1 game a week. And
mhm,
American players have 1 practice a week and 3 or 4 games a week. And in the game is not when you work on your skills, it's in practice.
mhm,
These 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 big guys from Europe can all bring the ball up, they can all shoot, they can all rebound, they can all play one-on-one defense. They can do it all. It doesn't matter how tall they are.
it's true.
So
It's really
it's not just a theory at this point, it's proving itself out that, the skills are there at an early age and they just keep refining them and keep building,
mhm,
if anything, they may not have the athleticism. A lot of times they'll be struggling with weight or struggling with
mhm.
the athleticism part of it, but they're mentally tough and they definitely have a lot of skills.
So this is set up to be a really fantastic season of NBA basketball. There's a lot of great young stars in the league right now and ascending stars. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Do you think that the gambling scandal is going to put a cloud over this NBA season, or do you think they're going to be able to emerge from it?
I do think so. It's not something they can't emerge from, but I think it's going to be a lot of unanswered questions kind of trickling out all year. And I just think that it's an ugly black eye that, people, it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
It is.
So,
What's interesting is the Trailblazers have won 2 games since Chauncey Billups has been arraigned. So I don't know if there's maybe that rallying effect going on with them as well, because they're a very good basketball team.
yeah.
So, final thoughts, Robbie, as we close out another great week and head into another NFL week, and we set our fantasy lineups and anything you're really looking forward to.
Well, so much sports going on. We had to condense and kind of keep it tight. because we could have probably gone on for another
I mean, we
hour
have
and a half of each
MLS
sport.
playoffs kicking off tonight. My
I
Charlotte
know,
FC is playing tonight. It's just you
I
can't
know.
follow it all. It's not possible.
There's women's soccer tournaments. There's just so much stuff going on. But it's great. I love it's a nice thing to deal with. It's so much better than in the middle of summer with no Olympics, and
Mhm.
all you have is the boring part of the baseball season. Where I love this part of the baseball season.
Oh,
It's
it's
as good
great.
as it's as good as anything that there is. But don't get me wrong, middle of the baseball season, I'd rather be at the beach and I'll just check scores later, you know, or
Yep.
I'll go to the game itself
Or go to the game. Yeah.
or
Going
go
to
to
the
the
games.
game to get the experience. But I'm not glued to the TV on baseball games throughout the summer. It's an interesting thing, my sons always want sports on, so I'll put a
Mhm.
baseball game on. But this time of year, you know, it's just full tilt. It's amazing.
Every pitch means something. I mean, that's why it's so
Every
exciting.
pitch means something.
Mhm.
And then you add in this time of year with football, the college teams are really separating themselves.
Mhm.
The top 25 is really working itself out. And there've been a couple of teams that were underseeded that are winning their way up the ladder. Uh, Maybe they had some loss early or something like that, but they're coming back strong. And then the top three teams are really separating, and
And then there were a couple teams that were
good
way
matchups.
overseeded in preseason. I mean, Penn State,
Yeah, Penn State, they're gonna win the national title. I've
LSU.
been laughing at that the whole time.
Mhm.
Um, I don't want to sound like Mr. Know-it-all or anything, but I could not understand why I was hearing so many different places that Penn
Mhm.
State was going to win the national championship. I didn't feel that at all.
And
Uh,
guys, I wanted to just call out a little later in the week. We're going to be releasing a great episode we recorded last night about NIL in college sports, and just look for that episode. It's really fantastic. It was a great interview with a
yeah,
NIL collective guy who knows a lot about it. So be looking for that episode later in the week. It's pretty cool.
yeah, it was really interesting. We're gonna have him back because we definitely enjoyed
Talk about the
talking to
transfer
him.
portal. Yep,
But overall, the sports has been amazing. We've enjoyed our episodes because there's such good stuff to report on,
it
and
is. It was fun.
we're gonna keep chunking away.
So good that we had to split recap into two.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
well, guys, like this video, subscribe to the channel. We will see you next time on an episode of the Sports Guys. And again, thank you so much for going on this ride with us and subscribing. We added 700 subscribers last week, which is just for us is fantastic.
Yeah,
And
we
just
appreciate that a lot.
keep it going, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us.
Have a great one.
See you soon.